Hello, and welcome to episode 22 of Across the Board. Big shout outs right now in chat to Mango Ice Stables. What is going on? How you doing? Siberia's in the house. Love to see it. F Dog is here, and of course Trot. Loving the emotes there. Thank you very much. Additional shout out to some recent followers. We got 88 Muzz 88. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Aussie is me and Adza Racing. All of a sudden, like the past 15 minutes, chat, my voice has started to go. So bear with me tonight. A lot to talk about. It's going to be a super fun episode. We're going to start with Zero to Hero updates on T Money and Jishin. Then going to talk about horse values. I still get a lot of questions and see a lot of questions of, hey, is this a good value? How much would you pay for this horse? And I always have a tough time answering that. Because I don't necessarily want to provide financial advice. You'll see it on the ticker below. Never like doing that. But at the same time, there needs to be a way, I think, to look at that. And I mentioned this in my Horse Hub reveal last week, but I just want to re-go over that feature of the cohort and why I think that's valuable in a great way of looking at horse values and comparing horse values within the current state of the market. Big shout out to we got people on Kick tonight. Looks like we've got some people on X and on Twitch as well. So thank you. I do have all the chats up this week, unlike last week. Apologies for that. So please shoot any questions anytime, data related, performance related, otherwise about photo finish. I'll do my best to answer, and if I can't, I will absolutely get back to you. So whether that's about racing, breeding, just general performance, go ahead and ask away, chat, and I'm here to help you out. Get that expanded a little bit just so I don't want to miss anything. Perfect. All right. Now I lost that chat. Bear with me here. We'll just go. Perfect. We are back. Okay. So first thing we're going to talk about tonight is Zero to Hero. Looking at my stable, currently racing, I just have T Money and Jishin. So Jishin, 47 races, and in those 47 races, 21 wins, 11 places, 4 shows. That is 36 out of 47 podiums. Love to see that. Definitely kind of rare performance there. And then his exact sister, same mom, same dad, just a few years apart between them. 8 races so far and 6 podiums with 4 wins, 1 place, and 1 show. So very kind of identical, very similar performance. Excited to see what T Money does. Age 3. I don't know if I'm gonna retire her right away. We shall see. So if we look at just kind of the past week or so, we'll just refresh this. We'll pull up Jishin. And we'll zoom in a bit. So this past week was a little different for Jishin. So we'll just go to, again, if you click the dates, it becomes a lot easier. Today's the 6th, so we'll go back to the 29th. So in at that time, I've had 5 races, 20% win rate, 80% place rate, and 3,000 Derby profit, which has been great. If this little error pops up, you can just ignore it. It's being silly. I raced at 5 furlongs and 4 furlongs, which we know are Jishin's sweet spots. But I also raced at 11 furlongs because I figured, you know what? Why not? And in looking at this performance, we got 3 races at 5. 1 at 4 and 1 at 11. We can see that in 5 and 4, he did great. Average position 1 and 2, 1 win, 1 race at 4. Didn't win, but consistently got seconds at 5 and profitable in both cases. This 11, 12 horses finished in dead last, 100% average finish percent. That is not what you want to see. You want to see close to 0 as possible. So this is the exact opposite. And you can see his performance. So if we go down here, we can look at, this isn't bad. Fast at 40% finish percent. That's not horrible. Yielding is below 15, so definitely awesome. And then if we look at soft, skewed because of that 11 furlong race. Look at four handicaps, one stake race. And if we look here at the speed and fleet figures, you're going to see that he definitely high end for 4 and 5, definitely on the low end for 11, and that translates over here to fleet figures as well. Another thing is just kind of a little bit of a layout change. Bumped these charts up just so it's easier to go from top to bottom. We don't have to scroll as far, scroll back up as much. You'll see all the race data is still here, and now the kind of seasonality performance of your horse has moved down to the bottom right. Again, useful for tracking your horse over time. So let's look at kind of Jishin here. Full circle. We'll go all the way back. And we can see right now he has 60,000 Derby profit, 45% win rate, 77% place rate, 4 and 5 standing out here. I'm going to check his grade, and we're just going to put that at A minus just so you can kind of get a clearer picture at these charts down below. So we know that, 4 and 5 are his best distances. We're going to go just change that. You don't have to do the slider if you don't want. Just change that 12 to a 5. Get him kind of like really dialed in here. And now you can see that, both of his speeds and fleet figures have done great. This bottom right corner, we can see how he has changed season over season. Each one of these columns is a different season within Photo Finish. So this top bar, we're looking at our performance, and we can see that he's kind of hovered around this 27 to 30 finish percent range, which is great. But in these most recent seasons, we see an increase in fleet figure, and we also see a decrease in performance across those distances. So I know he's dialed in at 4 and 5, and I can see that his fleet figures are increasing. So he seems to be getting better so far. And I mean, this will eliminate a lot of those kind of garbage outlier races too. So this is like a very pure look at his performance. If we look at his profit, you can see we skyrocketed here, 35, just under 36,000. We're at 10,000 right now for the season. Now, if we take a look at his track preferences, so left turning turf, all those races were run there. But across, yielding, soft, and sloppy, he's pretty similar. Good is a little worse. Not too much. If you look at this, it's less than a 5% difference. Right around. I did not do well in a graded race, but allowance, okay. Still finishing, the top 35, 33-ish percent, well, at 35 exactly. And then if we look at handicap and stakes, that really seems to be his sweet spot. So what this tells me now is looking forward, I got my data at 11 furlongs. I didn't love it, as to be expected. But now I'm going to open up my kind of track conditions here, yielding maybe even some good. Would like to get that sample size up and looking at handicaps and stakes races, looking from good, yielding soft and sloppy. And very happy with this. Yeah, 64,000 profit at all of these conditions and those two distances. Now, if we look at his sister, T Money, we're just going to reset the page. It'll refresh everything for us. Go to the drop down. This is a bad sign. I'm already out of water. Voice is going. So we look at his sister. All time, we have 8 races so far, 50% win, 75% podium rate, 8,000 profit. She's doing very well for herself. We've only run at 4 and 5. I got that because I knew that's where her brother was. We're going to change this grade here to an A minus so we can get a better idea of the speed and fleet figure numbers in the bottom right here. You can see at 4, she's doing very well. 5, a little slower, but 4 and 5 both showing good fleet figures. If we look at track conditions, doesn't seem to do as well as on sloppy so far, which is interesting. Both handicap and stakes look fine. but Soft is doing great and Yielding is good as okay. So kind of a similar trend-ish to her brother, but she's only year 2. We're going to see what happens in year 3 if I don't retire her. You can see a 53 fleet figure, 34% overall, and 8,000 Derby profit. So super happy with her. They both have races coming up. We have Jishin coming up in the hour and 21 minutes in a Stormcloud Invitational. So this is 4 furlongs left, turf good. Okay, nice. So again, this will be an interesting data point for him. And then we've got his sister signed up for. Yeah, so this race is in 7 hours. This will be very interesting. So this is a left turf, 80% chance of rain, unknown condition, but we're looking at a A- to S- allowance race. So we'll see how that goes for her. Again, something a little different. It's kind of within her scope, but this allowance, going up in this allowance, I think will be really, really interesting. My recap on both of those horses. We got Brett Smith in the house, ladies and gentlemen. We got corgis here tonight. For those of you on Twitch, you can see that in chat. Brett Smith, thank you so much for coming in. Brett Smith, the absolute legend, the greatest mystery in Web3. No one knows who they are, but they just show up to streams, mostly my streams. I'm not aware of Brett Smith showing up on anyone else's streams. I might have to talk to Mo. And all they do is just put in corgis. It's got to be a bot. Like, it's got to be a bot. I'm convinced. Whoever you are, whatever you are, I applaud you and thank you. Salute to Brett Smith, 69. What a name. That's a perfect segue into next segment we're going to do tonight, which will be the Horse Hub. This was a tool that I released last week. So much like the Claiming Corral, this looks at all horses available on the marketplace. And you can add various filters, some of which are not available on the Photo Finish website, such as price. You can also do injuries. You can look at the number of races, average fleet figures. You can look at earnings, podium rate, win rate, and even if the horse is pregnant or not. So a lot of different filters here. And I actually used it over the past week to buy a new horse. We can actually show that. If we go to retired, I just picked up Reagan Leaf, 210. I wanted to get it earlier. It was on the market earlier in the week for cheaper. I just wanted to lock it up. Left Dirt Farm. I already have a Left Dirt Soft. So this will kind of cover both aspects of Left Dirt for me. Gen 0, 3 start, 3 speed, 1 stamina, 2 finish, 3 heart, 2 temper. This horse has, if we look at the GAC, we've got 1, 2, 3 above GAC, nothing below, which I love. And it has 2 attribute matches. If you look at Offspring, Shield Maiden Song, 9 out of 18 podiums. Not as good for Lime Twisted Gin at 7 out of 20. But then we've got 7 out of 17 for Lime Leaf. And then a few unraced at Fast Eddie, Felson, Boom Chicka Boom, and Bada Boom. And the horse is currently pregnant. Looks like it bred with, you see that 169. Wish I had that. Ended up getting it for 210. Is currently bred with Machiavelli. This could be a fun horse name. Machiavelli Leaf. I think that would be an awesome name. This horse has SS minus start, S minus speed, so that will kind of cancel it out. That's flat, that's up, and that's flat. So kind of all over the place, but it's going to come with a free horse. I'm excited for it. Shout out to SoCal Stables. This horse looks kind of fun. We got 7 out of 18 podiums. So going back to Horse Hub, I used Horse Hub to buy this horse. And one of the key things I looked at, again, this goes back to the conversation I had earlier about people asking about horse valuations and how much they should pay. So I created this you'll see this cohort size. This is a metric that I came up with. And what that does is it groups horses by their age, their gender, their grade, and their track preference. Because in looking at the data and looking at the marketplace, those are the four biggest factors, in my opinion, that can create the most kind of synergy or alignment and create the fairest horse comparisons. If you start looking at like the different track preference stars and things, it can get a little skewed and a little too granular. But yeah, wow, we can look at here's a 9-year-old male horse for very, very cheap. Looks like no one wants to breed with it because it's listed so cheaply. You see, I've got it sorted by price. We can sort on anything. But then what's going to be next to this is the median price. So it's going to take that cohort based on grade, preference, gender, and age. It's going to say, okay, what is the median price? And how does this horse compare to the median price? So we can see St. Aldate's is 112 Derby below the median. That means that horse is cheaper than the median. It could be value. It's not guaranteed that it's going to be a great find, but it could be. Now I need to look a little more granularly and look at the details, why it might be lower. Maybe it is because it has no shade on St. Aldate's. You're just the top of the list right now. Could be the fact that, we'll zoom in a little more, the fact that it has lower track preferences. It could be tied to a podium rate. There could be a lot of factors that go into this. But if you're on the market, you're looking to buy a horse, I would recommend coming here, plug in the grade, the preference, the gender, and the age. Get yourself an idea of what prices are for that style horse. And then whether you're negotiating, privately, you're looking to buy in the marketplace, figure out where that horse lies. And if it's higher up, cool, awesome. Is there a reason why? Is it cheaper? Awesome. Is there a reason why? And understanding that piece is the key to value. But I think this median price is something that is a great way to point you in that direction. So yeah, here's an S plus. I mean, these are ridiculous. So let's just say, I mean, we are talking like 800,000 Derby. This is a lot. So I'm just gonna go price less than or equal to, I'll do 100,000. Just to kind of clear this up a little. 684 entries, 1 to 25 of 74. I love the numbers that it shows you. Filtered from 684, we're looking at 74 now at 100,000. Oh, sorry, that's 10,000. Yeah, let's leave it at 10. Let's do 10,000. So we now have, that's 9. So wow, the median price here on, Dr. Del Cavoli is huge, like negative 73,000 Derby, but there are only 2 horses. So that tells me the other horse that's listed here is just listed at an astronomically high price. The other way we can approach this is we look at our own requirements. So let's say hypothetically, I'm looking for a retired, we're going to say equals, we're going to do 9. I'm looking for a female because I wanted to breed. I'm looking for, we'll take that price off. I'm looking for a preference. Let's do LDF again. And we've got the age, we've got the gender, we've got the preference, the grade. That would be the other thing. Because this is now so small of a group, I can just kind of eyeball this and say, well, I'm looking for an LDF female. Here's around this age. Here's what I could kind of look to expect. Here's what the market looks like on that. Now, if I get rid of that F there, I'm going to do starts with, I'm going to say left dirt. I'm interested in getting into the Kentucky Derby at one point, hopefully. And you can see, okay, yeah. So we've got, there really isn't any LDS right now, 9-year-olds on the market. Let's get rid of that age. And let's do median price. You can also set that. So it doesn't do well with negative. So if you just say less than 0, it's going to show you all of them that are below the median price. So here's all left dirt females below median price. Let's look at grade. And let's say contains. Again, it's just trying to show you all the different types of filters. A. So here we go. And we can add things for, direction, surface, condition filters too. But here's a full of Victoria's Secret. A+ LDS. Let's look at that. Age 0. All right, so we'll go A equals A+, age equals 0. And we'll get rid of that median price. We should have, we've got A+, age is 0. Oh, LD. Let's do LDS. That grouping is bigger. Shout out to a few more people popping over on Twitch, or sorry, on Kick. Thank you very much. Those of you that are still watching on Kick, appreciate you as well. See those numbers climbing up. All right, so again, all the different ways I can do equals, starts with, less than, contains. But here's our group. Here are our 5 horses within this cohort. Again, based on age, grade, preference, and gender. And if we sort, yeah, okay, so we have it sorted right now by median price. And so we see, okay, Victoria's Secret, Beauteous Moon, Big Mom, Amy, and Cosmic Brownie. So if I look at, now I might go and look at, okay, so this is that Big Mom is the median. Let's look at these boosts. So we've got 2.5, 3, 4. We've got 4.5, 5. Wow, okay, Beauteous Moon. For the price within this cohort, if I'm looking for an LDS age 0 A+ female, might be a good value for me. Now, obviously, I'd look into lineage, I'd look at parents, look at GAC, I'll look at all those different things. But again, I get a lot of questions. I see a lot of questions around horse values, especially from newer players. Use this as a benchmark. A live benchmark, because this is going to update about every hour. You'll get new prices listed, so you can get kind of a real-time-ish look at pricing within the market depending on your needs. So maybe you're looking for a racer. Maybe you want to swap this out. You want to say this is male, and I'm boom. All right, now we have 9 horses, and again, sorted by that median price. That means 13th Beach is 35,000 less than the median price. It has great track boosts. Awesome. But maybe I'm looking at programmed, because that has 3.0 across the board, and I'm a track pref maxi. So this looks appealing to me, and it's within my budget. Again, you can also set your budget here too by looking at price. We do equals, less than. Gotta make sure I get the right amount of address. F-Dog on Kick. Appreciate you hopping over there. Is that the right soul address? Let me confirm that for you right now, F-Dog. Yes, that is the right one, F-Dog. That is the correct soul address. So again, so it's now I know, okay, what's within my budget, what's available on the market. And even though there are 9, it's not going to show all 9 because I have the price limiter on there. Anytime you add more filters, it's going to remove that. And the beauty of this is I can leave, come back later, refresh the page, because you need to do that to get the new horses in. These filters are going to stick for you. So automatically, what you're seeing here will come back. So again, looking at how you can compare values within the market and find something within your budget that fits your needs, whether you're buying here, whether you're using the Photo Finish website, whether you're doing a secondary private deal, I just think it's a really quick way to fire up. Okay, what are current prices? What do they look like? You can see these are kind of, close. There's a big gap between 13th Beach and Pepe Sylvia. But then Pepe, Violet Cornflower, and Lady Godiva are all pretty close. And then we shoot back up. So, like, there's kind of like some gaps in here. So maybe you're doing a secondary deal, paying in here. It's within your budget. It makes sense for your needs and what you want. Cool. That could be a great opportunity. And that's kind of the goal of this, the goal of all of my tools, provide a comprehensive view of those opportunities based on you and your strategy. Again, not financial advice. Of course, values could change at any given point in time. Do what works for you. So, looking at foals and looking at performance, the next thing I want to talk about tonight is breeding. Before we talk about this, Stens here. Any consideration to changing the cohort to just soft or firm, keeping the age and gender? Seems minuscule cohorts make evaluating median price a minor nightmare. I like that, Stens. I'm open to that. I'm absolutely open to that. That'd be a pretty quick and easy fix to just soft or firm. Keeping age and gender. So instead of the full preference, you're saying eliminate the preference and change that to just soft or firm. I'm open to that. Build a cohort off the filters. I like that idea. Flat rollout. Not currently possible that I'm aware of. But you essentially kind of do that. I guess let me take that back. You essentially kind of do that because they save. So if you've got, build out whatever. Ignore the cohort size then. Ignore the median price. Just look at the price, build out what filters you need, and you'll have created your own setup, your own kind of cohort to evaluate. Hey, Aaron D. God's in chat. Thank you so much for tuning in over at Kick. Hey, MJ, thanks for all you do for the PFL community. That means a lot. Check your wallet from all of us over at D Stables. All right, I'm going to check this right now because I don't get notifications on that. Holy shit. Wow. Aaron and everyone over at D Stables, thank you very much. That was incredibly kind and very, very generous of you. That really means a lot. I love doing this. I love making content. I love building tools, and to know it's appreciated alone is a incredibly fulfilling feeling, knowing that people like this site that I've built and they use the tools. But to get a donation, let alone a donation of that size, is absolutely I don't know. I don't have a word for it. That is hands down the largest donation I've ever received. I'm very, very grateful for you and for that. Thank you very much. I cannot thank you enough. I don't know what to say. But I do know that chat bear with me here, and thank you F Dog as well. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you very much. You deserve it. Keep crushing. We got hearts from F Dog. F Dog again asking for the address and the dono. Really, really appreciate that. We're gonna do a celebratory shot in honor of F Dog and D Gods and D Stables and Aaron. So chat, bear with me. We will be right back. We'll watch some races. Give me 30 seconds. I'm gonna go. We're gonna do a celebratory shot. Thank you so much. Really, really, really appreciate it. Be right back. Don't leave. All right, Chad, I am back again. Big shout out to F Dog as well as D Stables and Aaron. Very, very generous. Say thank you and to show support. Um, cheers. Here's drinking a little scotch. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. That was very. Woo-hoo. That'll wake you up. Very, very kind. Forever truly thankful. I lost where we were. We are talking about, build cohorts, create your own filters. Ends with a great suggestion on adjusting that preference to just soft or firm. I kind of like that. Let's explore that. That'll be a quick update. That'll be something I can do after stream here. But now I want to take a minute to talk about breeding and just some things that I'm looking at within breeding in Photo Finish. So in the past, I've talked about GAC, and this isn't anything new. I've shown this on a previous stream. The top one, you're looking at your win percent, your podium rate, and then your finish percent. Remy over on X, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm really struggling for words right now with that don't know. So basically just kind of showing that as GAC goes up, that, those favorable metrics increase. So we're looking at -6 on the far left all the way to 7 on the far right, or the side closest to where I'm sitting right now. I also shared this about looking at parents' GAC, the total of their GAC, as well as their breeding matches. But I've got some new ones to show tonight. So the first one is looking at just the effective attribute matches. So if we look at, this is and there's some outliers here. The far left is 0, where that 40 is. And then the far right is going to shoot down right behind my head are 9 and 10. Those are outliers, smaller sample size. Now, I do have some filters applied to this data. So I'm looking at horses with a minimum of 25 races. Their age is 2 through 5. Track preference match set to true. And therefore, based on the way that I have that math set up, yielding tracks are removed. So these are, like, in theory, horses that are running on preference, 25 races, and they're of race age. So we can see here, just looking at this is the matches chart. So if we look at, a match of 1, you've got about a 38% win play show rate on average. And then it goes up 41, 42, 41, 44, 47, 50, and 54. Looking at the sum of the parent attribute matches. So, for those of you that say, hey, yeah, attribute matches lead to better horses, this could be a sign to point in that direction. I've said this before, and I will always say this again, that there are plenty of other metrics and considerations, but here is one way of looking at it. I'm not going to say it's the end all be all. Now, if we look at GAC, you're going to see kind of a similar chart, again, with some outliers, but it's the same filters of racing age, 25 races, racing on preference without the yielding tracks. And that red vertical line is 0 GAC. So you can see negative and all the way up through positive, how that is just going constantly up and to the right. Again, outliers at both ends, the top and the tail there. For those of you that maybe don't know, GAC is a metric that I came up with. This is the grade above counter. So how do we calculate GAC? Well, we'll go back to Regenleaf here. If we look at Regenleaf, Regenleaf will have a GAC of 3 because Regenleaf's grade is a B+. I take that core grade, I assign a numerical value associated with it. Again, it's like the 21 down to 1 from SSS+. And if you look at start, speed, and heart, those are all above that core base grade. So the GAC becomes 1, 2, and 3. 1 for start, 1 for speed, 1 for heart. Now, if we look at another horse in my stable, for example, if we look at Hawkeye, His grade is an A minus. He has a B plus start, so that's a -1 GAC. His speed is an A. That's a +1 GAC, so that's a net of 0. His stamina is an A. That's a +1. And everything else here is flat. So he would have a GAC of 1. It doesn't matter. GAC does not count how high up you go or how high down you go, especially if you look at some of these future or like later breeds. You're going to see, we looked at Machiavelli. That was a good one. Let's see if we can find. We'll go back to Reagan Leaf, Ledger. And if we look at. Where is. I lost it. Oh, there we go. Machiavelli. So we look at Machiavelli. Now, despite being an S grade and having SS minus, so that's 2. Like it would go SS plus, SS minus. That still counts as 1 from a GAC standpoint. I'm going to look into, actually like kind of counting that out, looking at those numbers more granularly. But I mean, the data is showing that it seems to have a kind of a pretty decent correlation with your podium rate, to say the least. So pretty consistently up and to the right. Now, when breeding first started, there was a pretty big breeding debate about, do you breed up in grade? Do you breed for track preferences? Do you breed for boost? All of that. So I kind of looked at that and tried to quantify that in a way. So much in the way that I took the grade, the overall horse grade through GAC and assigned a number value to it. Did the same here when looking at the grade ratings. And I'll give you kind of some examples here. So if we look then at breeding, and we look at the dam grade rating and the sire grade rating, which is really fun to say. For example, a 7 is a B minus, and a 15 is an S plus. And we look at kind of how those things match up. We look at this top chart here. This just looks at horses that are not 9 years old, so just all off. Oh, sorry, this looks at just 2, 3, 4, 5. I apologize. Again, trying to keep it somewhat similar there. And you can kind of see it kind of averages out to what you'd expect. If you look at a sire grade of 9 and a dam grade of 11, 9 plus 11 is 20. Split that, that's 10, 10.1. Okay. If we look at a 9 for the dam grade and an 11 for the sire, we see that's a 10.3. Slight increase. Is that enough to say that it is enough of an increase? Maybe, maybe not. But again, it's about the same. It's about kind of what you'd expect. So, breeding up for grade, you kind of can expect to get near or around the average. However, though, when you breed up for grade, and this is looking at the same filters as before, so grade or ages 2 through 5, 25 races, yielding excluded, track preference match. So if they're a soft horse, they're racing on soft tracks, firm horse, they're racing on firm tracks. You can kind of see now as we get to the outliers, like it's pretty consistent-ish, and it starts to drop off a little bit. So if we look at that B minus, if a B minus breeds with like an S, I believe that's what that would be, you can see that it drops off. And you can see now with these gradients that as you kind of breed up super, super far, super, super high, that you start to see some drop off in the bottom here. We'll zoom out a little bit so you can see the full thing of the performance. So maybe, breeding up super high for the sake of breeding up super high might not be a super strong way to go about maximizing or optimizing performance. Again, there will be other factors that go into this, but I just thought it was very interesting to share. You can kind of see you've got like some middling high 40s in that like Dwight Schrute t-shirt yellow color. I'm sure you've got some outliers in there as well on the fringes of things. But as we kind of get out further away, you can see that the percentages do decline a little bit, which I think is interesting. So just want to share this with you all. Again, kind of expect as you breed up, dam sire doesn't really seem to affect too much. In some cases, the sire would be a slight increase in the offspring performance. In other cases, the dam. So I don't think there's anything really there. A little bit if you breed too far out, it seems to affect at least that podium rate. But the win rate is a little more telling here. I don't have that included right now. So definitely something to consider there. So Sten says, note in chat, I'd caution that with the caveat that anecdotally, people with great preferences have tended to go slow, knowing they can race every single time, and lesser stock has maybe tended to take the discount of the S's. Sten says also no real dog in the fight here. We don't have any Gen 0 S's at $50. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just, again, anecdotally, Stens, I love the way you phrased that. Looking at the just Twitter, a little bit of Discord too, of like people like, oh, I want to be in the Derby. I'm going to breed up. I'm going to get this super high grade horse. And that's not necessarily the best, especially if you aren't starting with super high preference to begin with. And I feel in a handful of those cases, you are mixing high, like low pref with low pref, because a lot of those higher grades tended to have lower or less prefs comparatively to like some of those generation 0 Bs and etc. So great point there, Stens. Thank you for bringing that up. Awesome. Appreciate you. So yeah, chat, that's the voices held up surprisingly. Thanks in part to F Dog and D Stables with a little shot. Got through the water a little too quickly. But yeah, if you have any other questions, thoughts, you want me to look at a horse, you want me to look at a breed. One more thing I actually want to point out that I didn't announce. This is kind of like a little stealth update, but it was a small one. But the breeder board, which is slowly becoming one of my favorite tools of mine, is, let me pull that up right there. And this was from a community member who brought this up. So I want to give a big shout out, and I'll throw a tweet out about this as well. But this one goes out to White Collar Degen Dad. So now on the breeder board, there is a filter, and I've got to bump that out to 93. But now you can filter out the full podium rates. So let's say we'll just set that from 0 to 1. And I want to look at horses that hit the podium and do this in, it's from, 0 in like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, all the way up to 1, who have a 50% podium rate. And I can now see this. I look at like Ace King, seems to have bred a lot of them. Who has Ace King bred with? Well, S, A+, Lucy May twice. So I'm seeing some consistency there. And you can kind of go through, well, let's look at, I want to look at preferences of, let's go LDF. And it's going to filter this out. Oh, shoot, that's only going to filter out on the bottom, isn't it? So we can take a look here. We can look at full win rate. And we get kind of that little view. So let's say I want to bump this up to 0.75. Who's bred some absolute rock star horses? Ace King. Usually top of the list or near top of the list. S grade, bred with a lot of S. And you can see 26 races, 38 win, 16 win, 28 win, 27 win. Those aren't some bad numbers. So just another way that you can look at analyze full offspring performance. Your sire will just show up down here. I've got to add the grades up top as well. But new way of kind of slicing and dicing data. You want to see who's performing really well. Quick and easy way for you to do that. All right. Well, if no one has any other questions, comments, thoughts, again, just appreciate Mango, Siberia, F-Dog for the dono, Trot on, Breadsmith, Stens, great comments, great chat, Stens, appreciate you. Flat Rollout, Aaron D. Gods, D Stables, can't thank you enough for that absolutely incredible, generous, record-breaking for me donation. Again, absolutely over the moon, and I will put that to good use. That goes a very long way to supporting me. You have no idea at all. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you for tuning in, and I will see you next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, with some more data, talking about horse performance, and